Hello and welcome back. In the last section we ended up creating the spinner for our catalog component, and the next thing we want to do is do some event handling for the add to cart button here. Okay, so right now it is non-existent, so let's head over to our VS Code editor and I'll open the code for the front-end React code base. And let's see, in here, what I'm going to do right now is inside the component, I'm going to create another folder, and that's going to be called cart. And inside here, I'm going to go ahead and create a file or a JavaScript file that is named cart handlers. Okay, and this is going to essentially have some utility functions for our cart functionality, whether it's going to be add to a cart, remove an item from the cart, or increase the quantity of an item in a cart, or decrease the item, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the first activity for us would be to go ahead and create a new method here, which is essentially allow us to add an item to the cart. Whenever we add the items to the cart, we will be storing it in our local storage. So the local storage is something that you will find here on the if you do the DevTools here, right, come to the DevTools, there is the application tab, and inside here you have so many storage options, and one of them is local storage, and we would be using, and this is going to be specific to each specific domain, right now we are localhost 3000, and we would be storing the cart and its components in here in the local storage. It's a key value pair if you look at it, so we'll have a key of cart and the corresponding object for the cart here, which is going to be a list of items, right, and the counts of those items, right? Super. So let's head over into our cart handler, and in here I'm going to define a new function, and that's going to say add dish to cart. Okay, because item is slightly away from the domain, I'll just say add dish to cart. Okay, and this is going to get a dish as a parameter, and so in here I'm going to essentially define a new variable called cart. Okay, and I'm going to initialize this to an object. This object is going to contain, to begin with, a dishes object, and that's going to be an array. So to access the local storage, I have to do a couple of checks here. I'm going to say if type of, alright, window not equal to, not equal to, yeah, undefined. Okay, if that is not equal to undefined, then we can go ahead and access the local storage. I'm going to say if local storage dot get item of cart, because it's going to be a key value pair, so the key here would be the cart. If this is present, okay, what I'm going to do here, I am going to populate my cart variable that I have defined here. I'm going to read that item and say, yeah, let's go ahead and get this. But I also need to make sure that I parse this into JavaScript. So JSON.parse local storage.get item of cart. Alright, super. And after this, once we have the cart object, I will say cart dot, I'll access the dishes object, because once it'll always have a dishes object, whether it's populated or blank or empty. So I'm going to access the dishes object here, and I'm going to say I'm going to push this particular dish, and what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to introduce a new variable or new property called count. Okay, so every time I add a new dish, I'm going to set the count to 1. This is only at the time of new addition. Alright, and I'm going to use the spread operator here to get all the properties, and I'm going to actually introduce a new property here, and that's going to be count, and I'm going to set it to 1. Alright, super. And again, I want this particular dish to be unique. I don't want multiple dish items of the same type to be essentially part of the same to be there in the key, right? So what I'm saying is, if I add, let's say, a pizza, I want it to be added only once to the cart, and subsequently if I have to increase the count, I could do so. So essentially the key has to be always unique. And in order to get the unique dishes in my cart, I'm going to import a new package, and that's called Lodash. I don't think we've installed Lodash yet. Lodash has a lot of interesting utilities for array and in general JavaScript object manipulation. Okay, so let's head over to package.json. Don't think we have the Lodash here yet. No. Okay, so let me head over to the split terminal option. I'm going to go ahead and split the PowerShell, and in here I'm going to say npm I Lodash. I'll wait for this to complete. Alright, so that's completed. I'm just going to go ahead and exit this terminal. Alright, so Lodash has made its way here. Okay, let's close this. And over at cart handler, I'm going to say import. And I import the Lodash as underscore. Okay, and that's a convention that they use generally. Underscore from Lodash. And what I'm going to do here is that I'm not sure why I missed the const here. Okay, so over here I'm going to use the unique by method from Lodash. So I'm going to say const unique dishes is equal to underscore dot unique by. I think we have something like that here. Yeah, that's the one. And I'm going to provide the dishes object from the cart. So I'm going to say cart dot dishes. Okay. And this is going to be unique by ID. Okay. So all the items or the dish items will have unique IDs, and I'm going to say I want unique dishes by ID. Okay. Super. And then I'm going to set the cart dot dishes object. Go ahead and set this to unique dishes. And finally, I'll go ahead and set the local storage. I'm going to say local storage, set item, cart, and I'm going to give the cart as the key. And I need to essentially do a serialization here because all this dishes item is the cart item actually is in JavaScript format. I need to serialize that to JSON format in order for that to be stored on the disk. So I'm going to say json.stringify.cart. Yeah, this ID is very smart. This is what it involves to add a dish to a cart and store that on our disk. And next, what we're going to do here is we are going to import this into our catalog. Okay, I'll head over to the top of the file here, the JS file. Say import, and I think that was add dish to cart. Okay, and this is going to be from one level above. I think go inside the cart and then the cart handler. All right, super. So let's head over to our catalog and where we have actually defined the browse cart. And there's actually an option to add dish to cart. Well, let's see what it has. It has just a very bare minimum method right now, which essentially says we are submitting this dish to be persisted into our local storage, right? And that's where we have stopped. So what I'm going to do here right now is I'm going to call the add dish to cart method. Let me see how we can go about it. So I'll say add dish to cart and the dish item. Super. Let's see if we get any errors. Add dish to cart is defined but never used. Really? I thought we used it just now. Okay, this is the one. Let me see if there is a spelling mistake or something. Sometimes they can cause a lot of heartburns. Okay, this is the one for sure. I'll go over back to catalog.js and head over to the add to cart. Let's say add to cart. There. Let's go to add dish to cart. Okay, I think there is a problem here. So what's happening here is there is what I'm going to do here is this the same as add digital card that we've just defined there? Yes, there is. I think there's going to be a clash here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say add to cart here instead of add digital card, just to prevent that looping that we saw when we were doing the catalog component, right? I'm going to go over to the browse cart definition. Yeah, it's right here. And instead of add digital card, I will go ahead and say add to cart here. Not sure why it always copies the entire thing. Okay, let's go ahead and add to cart. Yeah, and same here as well. Add to cart. Okay, let's go ahead and save this. Now we shouldn't have any compilation warnings or anything like that. Okay, super, we're good here. So we're now ready to test this out. Let's go over to our application, and inside here, right now there is nothing in our local storage. I'm going to go ahead and close this, and let's see. I'll go ahead and add this particular item to the cart. Let's see what happens. Okay, it doesn't say anything on the screen because we have not enabled that interactivity yet. I will head over to the console. I think it got added here for sure. Yeah, it gives all the details about the price, the name and the description, and it should be also present here as well. I don't see any errors either here. All right, so head over to the application, local storage. Yes, here we do. So we have a card here with our dishes array, and it has its only content here, only dish here. Let's try and add one more. Okay, let's go ahead and add this. Let's see if it actually gets inside here. Yes, we have 2 items here. Try this one. We should have 3. Okay, super. So this is working fine right now. The next thing we want to do though is give an indication to the user that a cart was actually updated or an item was added to the cart. So let's see how we can go about doing that in the next class. All right, let's take a brief pause and come back soon.